Hey guys, and welcome to today's video. And in today's video we'll cover how to add the conversation to an NPC. So in the previous video we covered how to make a conversation widget where the text would show up in a typewriter fashion. You could have a conversation with the character. But in this video we'll cover how to apply it to an NPC in-game and how to make the NPC rotate towards the player and how to zoom into their face, somewhat like this. So we created the conversation widget in the first video. So if we play it, it will show the text in a typewriter fashion. And we click on the button, it goes to the next. And after all the conversation is over, we click the last button and then it ends. So now I've got my character over here. So it's just a skeletal mesh inside a blueprint class for a character. So the first thing we want to do is we want to add a camera to this character. So go into your blueprint for your character, and under the mesh you want to add a camera. And we just want to rotate this. We want to move it up to their face. I would say we move it 100 units backwards, and we can actually click on it in the world to see how it looks. So I want it to look like that, so it's okay. And we also want to make sure that our character can actually interact with this blueprint. So we want to look for the collision in the mesh, and we want to make it from character mesh to block all dynamic. So to make the user actually be able to interact with the character, we need to create a line trace. So we can do that in the first person character blueprint. So anywhere, I'm going to right click and I'm going to search for left mouse button, but any other key will work. So out of pressed, we want to get a line trace by channel. And from the start value, we drag out from the first person camera. And then we want to get world location. And then out of the first person camera, we also want to get forward vector. Then out of get forward vector, we want to multiply it by a float, and we'll multiply it by 200. So this value here is basically the distance that the line trace will cover. And then out of this get world location, we want to add, and then we want to plug this into the addition pin. So from the get world location, we want to plug into start, and then from the addition, we want to plug into end. And for draw debug type, we can keep it for duration so we can actually see the line trace. But after development and when you're exporting your game, you want to make sure it's none. So we can test this. I'm going to spawn into the world. I'm going to left click. And as you see, there has been a line trace. And if it hits an object, a little square pops up. So you see, when I left click on the character, a square pops up because we made the collision for him. The next thing we want to do is create the code for turning the character to face the player. So for example, if we click the character from here, click on the character from here, we want him to rotate to face us. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to add a custom event, and I'll just call it look at player. And from our inputs in the details panel, we want to get the actor, and we want to get an actor object reference. So the reason we're doing it in a custom event is it's just easier to repeat it multiple times for different characters. So out of the main pin, we want to create a timeline, add timeline. We can just call it whatever, it doesn't really matter. And then double click into the timeline. So the length here is going to be the duration it takes for the character to turn around. So I'm going to keep it to 0.6. And then you want to add a track, and we want to add a float track. So anywhere on the track, really, you can just right click and click add key to curve float 0. And then the time you want to set as 0, and the value you want to set as 0. And then you want to repeat it. But here the time you set as the length of your track, so 0.6, and the value we set as 1. So compile and save. Then when you exit, first we want to change this from play to play from start. Now the next thing we need to do is out of actor, we drag and set actor rotation. We want to plug that into update. And also we just want to make the actor rotate on the Z axis. So we want to split bin struct so we can manually update only the Z axis. So out of new track 0, we want to find for a float lerp. And then we want to break this link and we want to plug the alpha into this pin over here. So for the A value, we're going to drag out of actor again. We're going to get actor rotation. We want to split the pin struct and we want to return only the Z axis. And then for the B value here, we're going to again drag out of actor and get actor location. And then we're going to get find look at rotation. Find look at rotation. And then the target is going to be our location. So we want to get player pawn. And then out of that, we want to get actor location. We plug that into target. Once again, we split the pin struct over here. And then we only use the Z value and plug that into B. And then this return value, we can plug into this one over here. So essentially what happens over here is we use the timeline to smoothly rotate the actor to face our player. So you can just comment this and call it make actor look at player. So now from our line trace, first you want to get a branch, and then from the return value we want to plug that into the condition. So basically whatever comes out from this branch will only happen if the line trace actually detects a hit. And out of out hit we want to break hit result, and we can expand that. So firstly we need to go back into our character class, and over here in your class where it says BP name and self, you want to look for tag, and then under actor, so make sure it's under actor and not under mesh or character movement or whatever. Under actor we want to add a tag for this specific actor, so I'll just call him policeman or whatever. Then we can compile save. So now we're going to create another branch and we put it in true over here. So out of hit actor we'll drag out and we'll find the pin for actor has tag, and then the tag is going to be whichever tag we put in this actor over here. So we called it policeman, and then the return value we put that in the condition. So now if the actor who's been hit by the line trace has the tag policeman, it will carry whatever we want to do. So we wanted to make it look at player first, so we'll call look at player, and the actor is going to be the hit actor. So we can try that out right now, but first I'm just going to remove the widget from starting automatically. So as you see, when I click on the actor, he rotates to wherever I'm looking. I can even go behind him, and it works perfectly. Now since we have the code to rotate the character to face the player, we want to make the player be able to sort of zoom into the actor's face. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to change the first person camera to the actor's camera that we created with a smooth transition. So the way we're going to do that is we'll create another custom event. We'll just call it change camera. And then we also need an input, which is going to be an actor object reference, and we'll just call the actor again. So first we want to get player controller, and then we drag out from return value and set view target with blend, and then we can plug that into the main pin. Then the actor is going to be the new view target, so basically it's going to change the camera to the actor's camera with a transition, and the blend time is going to be however long we want it to take. So we can keep it at 0.75 seconds. That's about it. So to test this, we can just go back into the line trace, and after look at player, we can call change camera, and then the actor is going to be the hit actor. So let's test if this works. So as you see, we've sort of zoomed into the character's face, but now we want the widget to be created as well. So we want to create widget, and then the class is going to be example widget, and then from the return value we can add to viewport. So let's see. Yeah, so player has rotated, and then we can continue the conversation as normal. But as you see, it's been sort of doubled up because when we left click, it sort of clicked again on the character. So the way we're going to fix this is inside example widget. So out of get player controller, well, let's get player controller again. We can drag out, and we want to disable input, and then break the link to target and place into player controller, and the target should be get player pawn. So this will basically disable all input, so we won't be able to move or double up the call to create the widget. The target here also needs to be get player controller. We also want to do the same thing, but now we want to enable input. So out of this true over here, out of the true of this branch that we created on the on click button event, we want to re-enable the input. So we want to bring this into player controller, and the target should be get player pawn. We can plug that into after remove from parent, and we also want the camera to go back to the player's first person camera. So out of, we want to get player character, and from the return value we can cast to BP first person character. And then as BP first person character, we can get our change camera event, and the actor should be get player pawn. So let's test this again. So as you see, I'm clicking right now, but the line trace is not happening again because we've disabled the input, but it still works in the widget. So we can continue the widget. After it ends, well, yeah, it zooms out basically. You just want to make sure not to click too fast, because then it just keeps on repeating the widget. Yeah, that's about it.